Interesting that it's just us. Okay. Anyways, that's fine. So Friday, June 25th. So let's do a round with all of us and talk about intentions for this call, and with the context of sort of what are you interested in token engineering? What are you seeing in the community? Is there anything that you are excited to be researched or to be researching, or anything in the world of token engineering that you want to bring up? Hi, Octopus. So yeah, we'll start with a round of intentions. So, I'll go first. So yesterday I had a call with Peter, Jeff, and Sam on bonding curves and the state of bonding curves across token engineering. And the result of that call was that it sounds like there should be a kind of work stream within the labs that is just focusing on bonding curves and maybe compiling and putting together bonding curve research and models. So I think this is pretty interesting. I want to bring this up today and think about how this could be organized, and yeah, what the sort of manifesto of that might look like, and who might be interested. So bonding curve working stream. What else? I am really excited about the modular, universal Python library. For token engineering. So I can link to that. And I just posted the link to the agenda here in the labs channel. Oh yeah, I was gonna pin it, I think. Sweet. Cool. And the bonding curves discussion. Okay. And is there anything else that... There's also a lot of great work coming out of the Balancer research group. So if anything on that topic comes up, I think it's quite interesting. But I'll leave it at that for now, for me. And I'll pass it over to, who do we have here? BK?
Yeah, sure. Like, I'm not exactly sure, like, what we should be discussing.
Is just any topics regarding TE labs that you want to point out or discuss, or anything happening around the ecosystem, any research or anything you think needs more research attention, or that you want to comment on.
Okay, yeah. So just extending on your idea of universal Python library, like you sent a proposal to somewhere, I don't have the link, but So I was trying to create class-based objects in our LTF Discord, LTF GitHub repo, and it's on a different branch, but I created new repo, and then we can extend that, and then like everyone can contribute whoever wants in that repo. I think this would be a good starting point, and like we can publish with good documentation in this TC Discord so that everyone are aware about this.
Is it, which repo is it?
Token engineering
Cool.
with capital T. Okay.
Packaging?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then okay.
Okay.
And this week I'm going to try some work on my balancer research, and like testing the live swapping data on maybe balancer V2 to optimize, like reducing the impermanent loss. So I'm going to start the like actual simulation on Python this weekend.
Cool. Anything else,
Yeah.
or do you want to pass it?
Yeah, I'll pass it to Jake. Sorry. Yeah, go on. So we are just discussing our intentions around the token engineering and what something new we came up with this week. Yeah. To you, Jake.
Did you say my name?
Yeah.
Sure, Jake.
Maybe Johan can go next.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Johan.
Thanks, guys. Intention is getting the minimum to be useful in the world of token engineering, because, truth be told, the only solid skill I have by far is CAD. Before I can word out what precise problem I'm passionate about tackling in the TE world, I want to be fluent with all the tools I'm going to need. Hollow views for me is the mountain I really want to climb these days. Still a lot of complexity to be made sense of. But the Universal Python library, by the way, I'm super stoked on it because I know I can help on that. Should I make that token engineering repo pip installable? Because what I have so far are the pip installable augmented bonding curve models that Sean wanted me to get done earlier this month.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, you want me to take a look at it?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we can even look at that a little bit on this call, depending on how the time goes. But that's super interesting, yeah. And I think the key. So this. Okay, let's face it, guys. This is just an LTF call.
Yeah, pretty much, man. It's just us.
Okay, so as long as we can stay coordinated in terms of Because like the bonding curve models, they're not really finished. I mean, it just has the reserve ratio function and some of the other parameters. There's a lot of work to be done yet, and so where is that bonding curve model that you packaged, Johan? Is that in LTF token engineering? Or is that on Commons build?
Yeah, it's the Commons build one.
Okay.
I'll show you what I got. I'll share my screen.
Sure.
I hope it doesn't.
Give him just a second. He'll be back.
Just as I said the word crash, it did crash. Let me try. Sharing the window instead of the entire screen. I'll give this 2 more tries. Right. Discord will not let me share my screen, unfortunately. Have you guys seen that? Me jumping in and out of the labs?
Yeah. So it crashes every time you try to share?
Yeah, I think this is a common problem, not just for me.
Can I bring it up?
Sure. Yeah. Can you find you have in the Commons? Yeah, that's the one. Augmented bonding curve model. Oh no, the one below. That's it. So go to the augmented bonding curve directory. And that's the module, augmented bonding curve.py. That's the one I put up in Python packaging index.
Cool.
So that's what you'll get. The app.py just serves to make it displayable on the browser and include that.
Wait, so how did you do it?
Yeah, I can't share screen. So when you pip install it, you just go from augmented bonding curve import model, and then you have access to all the functions in them.
How did you? I would expect there to be a setup.py file here.
When you pip install it, all the requirements that are needed with it are installed automatically.
So you don't need any. How'd you get it on PyPy?
I would share my screen, but it turns out to be pretty straightforward.
Is it like you run some commands in your terminal or something?
I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
Okay, so you're saying if we go...
Let me grab the...
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So am I able to go pip install augmented bonding curve?
If I can remember the name, 1 sec, I'm actually... Okay, LTF, pip install LTF -abcm. Yep, that should do it. Now go to activate Python. No, it's from augmented bonding curve model. One sec, that's not exactly it. Yeah, I really should. I wish I could share screen. I got the exact commands posted.
Cool.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, I got the commands now. It's this.
Where is it? Oh.
Direct message. That's it.
Yep, I figured this out. So we can I got the reserve ratio going.
Nice.
Cool, but I don't think it's in this. It's not coming. Is it coming? It's not coming from this repository. Because there's no model.py here. Did we fork it? Okay, so let's keep going on our round and come back to this.
Yeah, we'll come back to this.
But yeah, I was expecting the requirements, Johan, to get something on PyPy is to have a setup.py file.
Yeah, we'll get into that in depth of that later.
Okay.
Try to find what the problems are.
Okay. So do you want to pass it over to someone?
Yep, who's below me? It's Muhammad.
Yes, I just came to see what's going on and learn more, maybe. That's it.
Okay. And you can pass it over, Mohammed?
I pass it to Nicholas.
So I've been looking into and trying to make sure I understand bonding curves. I found a pretty useful resource from Block Science that linked to a really nicely put together presentation. Do you want me to send you the link to that?
Yeah, maybe drop it in the labs channel here. Cool. Oh yeah, I know this one, yeah.
I was blown away by how nice it went together. But yeah, so other than that, mostly just trying to absorb as much as I can about token engineering, best practices, and make sure I understand the terminology being used, so that I don't confuse myself or say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's good. Yep, it's a whole learning a whole nother language. There's a lot of terminology to pick up with token engineering, and the TEC offers a lot of education. There's so many calls here. So did you find the calendar to add to your Google?
Yes, I did.
Nice. Yeah, there's lots of great events that happen, and you can always pop in and pick up some of the language. Yeah, this is a pretty famous presentation. I think a lot of people have referenced this. So this is the fundamentals of a bonding curve. You have some supply of tokens. Maybe call it S. There's actually another here. I'll share another resource. So this is the research that mostly Sem, but I've been helping out too. Me and Sem have been working on putting together all the resources that we can find to really master the Bandcore fundraising model, which is a bonding curve. And so these are our notes, and we even made slides. So essentially the Bandcore fundraising model is built off of this function, the power function. And as you modulate n with the exponent, as it goes, so when n is 1, let's just call m1 as well. So when n is 1, you have a linear rate fundraising. So every time you mint a token, your price goes up by the same amount. Yeah, and if n is greater than 1, you get this sort of exponential growth in your price relative to the supply. And if n is less than 1, you get this like sub-exponential growth. And so that's what we have. So I can actually show that off now that I've pip installed. So I should be able to go I'll just jump to, I think I have like a scratch cache. CD into workspace. I'll just do it in here. So if I open up Jupyter Lab, and I can spin open a notebook, and let's try this. So from augmented bonding curve, augmented bonding curve port model. Did that work here? Surprising. LTF. Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a kernel problem. I had issues similar to that.
Okay. I think I know what's happening. Let's try IPython. Oh, I have Conda.
Works.
It's hanging. I think it's gonna work. Let me just close this down. Okay, let's try that again. Nope.
Damn it.
Okay, does it say where it's what Python it's using? Jupyter Lab is loading extensions from local share Anaconda. Okay, let's try this. So, Python, import sys.executable. Okay, let's try here. Something funny's going on with my Jupyter. Yeah, so Jupyter is looking at my Anaconda distribution. And IPython is getting activated from my virtual environment.
Sean, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one more time you try to install it from your Jupyter, right in Jupyter Lab. Because right now I just installed and I imported without problem.
Like this?
No. Install LTF ABCM.
Okay. Oh, but that's going to install it in my Anaconda. Oh, no, well, maybe not. What will that do? Let's try it. Pip install LTF dash, what was it? ABCM. Successfully installed. Yeah, it's there. So, should go R equals model dot reserve ratio and import panel as panel dot row R reserve ratio, and should be like curve or view, try view. r.view. Sweet.
So, it's working.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a pip install. I did everything. Cool.
Yeah, there's something wrong with my the fact that I have Anaconda installed on my system, and it's forcing my Jupyter notebook to run from my Anaconda package even when Conda is deactivated and I have a virtual environment activated.
I think it's because Jupyter Labs is like basically connected to Anaconda.
Yeah, I think Anaconda is doing something, like there's probably some environment variable. I think I have some sort of hotkey to search my environment variables. Is it env? Jupyter. Conda. So here's the Conda prefix. Maybe Jupyter picks up the Conda prefix. Anyways, so this is cool, Johan, so it works. I've installed it, and now we have a bonding curve, and this is the cool thing about panel. So it's like, you get, it's a parameterized, R is a parameterized object. So we can get these visualizations for free, and then we can also just use this as an object. So we know that it's, if the reserve ratio is 0.84, then, well, what can we do? Reserve ratio is 0.84. Price. So we can get the price. Okay, we could set the price. Say r.price equals 200. So you get this is the coolest thing about param. You get this Python object that you can play around with, and it's as it gets manipulated. Ah, where's my autocomplete? Oh, because I made that a markdown cell. As you manipulate it, the plot will change in real time. So you get this dashboard that's decoupled from the ability to manipulate the object. Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
yeah. We could set the supply, and if you set it too high, then it complains, which is a good thing, because the supply must be at most 1,000, which is what we've set in the code itself. So if we're packaging panel param objects, we might need a way to expose the boundaries on the parameters to be able to change them. Because as of now, you go into the actual code, right, and you modify the param object to change the boundaries. But I'm sure there's a case where the supply should be more than 1,000 for a bonding curve.
Okay, I'll make note of that.
This is the concept of user code versus library code.
Right.
So the library, the user code is what we have here in front of us. We're using the library, and the library code is what's in the library. So it's not, typically a user doesn't have access to change library code. They just use it as is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we can do something like this, r.supply, oh no, it's like this, r.param, and then it's like a dictionary, so we can say supply, and then we get access to its attributes, so dot bounds equals 0 to 1,000,000. Boom. And then we can say r.supply equals 5,000. Okay, so that was pretty easy, actually. So you can modify a parameterized object's parameters by accessing this. Any parameterized object has this, param.parameterized.parameters, and it acts as a dictionary, so we could should be able to get reserve ratio. Dot, no, not value, dot, step 0.01. Okay. So I'm still curious how you got this on PyPy, Johan, but I guess we'll have to wait for you to be able to share your screen.
Actually, I think I could share it now. It's not
Okay.
crashing anymore.
Cool.
5. You guys see my... I'll just close my browser. Okay, this is the folder where I set everything up so it can be uploaded to Python packaging index. Look in source. There's a folder called augmented bonding curve. That's why we use from augmented bonding curve, and within that is model.py. Now I remember why it's called models because I actually renamed the module into model.py, so it'll make sense when we're importing it. So, code model.py is actually just the module itself. And it installs the requirements because we have this text. Wait, no, I think it installs requirements because we have this. That's yep, it's right there. This is the metadata: Anderson, BK, Muhammad, email. Yep, I gotta do some more on me. So what we have. Yep. Yeah, over the weekends I'm gonna.
Hey, Johan, can you can you type get remote -v?
Get remote dash. Right here?
Yep. Augmented bonding curve model on Commons build. Because when I go to that repository, there's no setup.configure file.
Oh, that's something I made. It's custom. It's just for uploading packages to PyPI.
So was my confusion. I thought the package PI was connected to a GitHub repository, but it's not.
No, it's not. No. I can fix that.
Cool. So this is so easy. So now all we need is this template configure file, and then is there like a command that you run in the terminal to push this to PyPy?
Yeah, there's a sequence like 4 commands. I'll write that all down.
Sure.
So I just have to. That's short.
Okay, so we haven't even made it all the way around yet. Nicholas has been looking into bonding curves. Okay, good. So I'll share this hackmd file that Sem and I have been putting together. Let's see, labs. Yeah, and Nicholas, I think there's a need for a whole bonding curve working stream in the under the labs in the TEC. So, well, I'll keep you posted on any information there and what's going to come out of that.
Okay, awesome. More than happy to help.
Awesome. That is great to know. You might want to, if you're free on Sundays, there's really good hack sessions on Sundays. So it's Sundays from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. PST. So they go for 4 hours, and it's pretty casual. You can drop in at any time, drop out, hop in for a couple hours, and so 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. PST, and just in the TEC here. And it's it's an initiative by the Parameters Working Group. So that's led by Griff, and actually Jake was a huge part of that, really getting that bootstrapped and started. And then now, so it's a co-effort between labs and Parameters now. So the last 6 weeks or so, the labs have been mostly focusing on analyzing the praise dataset. I've been working very closely with Octopus and Mohammed on that. But that's coming to a close, and so there's going to be a lot more time for things like this, modeling bonding curves, and yeah.
All right, cool.
Cool.
I guess I'll pass on to Octopus.
We can't hear you, Octopus. Possibly some mic issues.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I would like to invite anyone who is interested to come to the long tail general discussions. About 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I also wanted to, it's sort of already come up, which is nice. Just in working on the praise analysis, I've really seen the value of dashboards and manipulables. And I think it would be awesome to have a session working on that. I've already been working on it myself, but to just talk about that, because I've seen several of your streams, Sean, where you're working on those, and I think they're really cool. It might be good to get more people involved in that, I think. But my intentions were to discuss that, and also just to try to be very precise in my communication. Like, one thing I learned in doing praise analysis is that in communicating the results of my personal praise analysis is that sometimes there are words that are loaded with value judgments to the audience that you don't have any value judgments to you. Mm-hmm. And so trying to figure out how to say things in a way that accurately captures what you're saying beyond just being like objectively technically accurate, but to figure out what it will mean to the person you are communicating with is something I've sort of been having to consider based on that experience. So those are my two major ideas that I've been wrestling with that are lab adjacent, and I'm open to any thoughts or any discussion about them or any ideas.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm such a big fan of precise communication, and I'm not always. Sometimes I get carried away with language. I'm a bit of a, I don't know, storyteller or something, and sometimes my language, I think, isn't the most objective, but still I can feel it when you're engaged in a precise conversation with someone, and it really is discussions of sort of objective truths without any sort of value judgments put on the wording. Yeah, so that it's a really interesting concept that you're playing with, or working with, or practicing, or focusing on, is understanding the audience and how they might receive certain topics or concepts or words, and they might have attachments or value judgments on them, even if it's coming from the speaker as just an objective statement. So it's a pretty interesting thing to consider.
And I had this experience in doing the general stand-ups at our first session. I wasn't really sure, what it was okay to talk about publicly. And so I had this sense that I was erring on the side of caution, but then that made it have a very restrictive type feel. And so getting clarification from you about, it's okay to mention client names, and the general stand-up doesn't necessarily have to be a repeat of the TE stand-up. So what I've started moving towards in that meeting is just having a question for the day that I'm curious about everyone's views on.
Cool.
Today I was going to do anti-fragility and the value of failure and conflict.
I love that. It's a huge part of this whole decentralized world. Decentralized networks tend to be anti-fragile. And through this process of, what did you say? Failure and
disagreement.
Yeah. I really like crypto markets because they have this, what I believe to be a very natural cycle, where they boom and bust, and they really crash. I mean, in 2017, the market crashed by January 2018, February 2018, the markets crashed by 90%, and that's brutal. I mean, that can really be devastating for people, but in the overall sort of macro structure of the economy or the ecosystem of crypto, it creates an extremely strong, it's kind of like a forest fire. A forest fire goes and clears out the old wood so that there's all this raw nutrients and minerals and sunlight for the new growth to grow and become even stronger than the previous generation. And that's an anti-fragile property, something that gets stronger through stress or tension. And I think you see the similar things with the crypto markets going so up and down in prices, and just the volatility and the different DAOs, like the DAO, got hacked for 150 million or whatever, and all those people went and started new DAOs and that aren't getting hacked, and it's this process of getting stronger through stress. And this is, I think, anti-fragility is the property, or maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's so associated with decentralization. I think decentralization and anti-fragility tend to go hand in hand, and that doesn't mean things are going to be easy. Just because something's anti-fragile doesn't mean it's going to work with no problem. It actually means the opposite. It means it's going to get stronger through stress and failure and disagreement, which is not an easy road, but it's neat that what happens in the long run when something's getting stronger over time is that it tends to last or maintain its structure. So
that's what I was hoping, maybe to invite people to talk about it in 2 hours if they're interested. And I really resonate with a lot of what you've said. And the only thing I would add to that is I think that one of the things that's overlooked is the importance of disseminating the strength from the failure. So there's supposed to be a reflection, like I believe the model of a sprint involves a reflection period before the next sprint. And I think that in this space in particular, because everything moves so quickly, we're often just on to the next thing, and we benefit sometimes from taking a period to make sure that we're able to highlight what failed and what we learned from it so that we don't make the same mistakes. And it's possible that this happens and I don't see it, but I will say that I do not see it.
This is a really good point.
Yeah, it's called the sprint retrospective.
So I promise, if you come to the meeting, I won't be in my pulpit. I'm just trying to facilitate all of us talking.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that meeting today. I'm gonna attend. It's I've had this past week or so. I've had a lot of things coming up around that time at noon, but I am really looking forward to those sessions. I think that's a good idea to have a question for everyone. It will lead to some really good insights and dialogues.
Cool, thank you.
So that's cool. I think it seems like there's about 3 points here. There's the bonding curve discussions that came up. There's the Universal Python library, and there's the sessions, the LTF open sessions. Looking forward to that. And so I think that the labs here is going to spin up a bonding curves working stream. And maybe we also need a Python library working stream. Now I'm not sure exactly what shape this will take, and I'm hesitant to really make a lot of proposals. I think maybe it can be a point of discussion at the Sunday hack session, because that's often a place where this kind of stuff makes some progress. So I guess on that note, I'll invite everyone as well to the Sunday hack sessions, 9 a.m., 11 a.m. PST to 3 p.m. PST in TEC. Yeah, and I think I'm going to take a little break here, and so I'll see most of you in 2 hours, if not sooner.
See y'all later.
See ya.
Thanks for coming by the labs, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you, bye.